Now this is IGCSE Music from 2026, Area of Study 2, Classical Music, and I'm looking at Haydn, the piano trio in G major, the finale, and this is video 2, where I will look at the score and explain the things there. Now in the previous video, we had a look at the Cambridge system where we saw in the syllabus that you have to know the melody, the ornamentation, the structure. So let's go through everything here. Now the scale, we will see that we're in G major, and we will look at cadences, the key changes, instrumentation, the time signature, the texture, the violin, doubling the melody and the double stopping. Okay, so first thing we see is that we're in G major. I see the F sharp there. I start with a pickup bar or an upbeat, and the first chord that I see is G, B, D. So I'm in G major, and it's in 2/4 time, and I see presto. Presto, very fast. And then in my violin part, I see double stopping, where I have to play 2 notes at the same time. Also mentioned that the cello mostly play harmonic notes, and it's not that actively involved. And here I see a modulation, a sudden modulation to D major with a perfect cadence. The added C sharp indicates that I have A, C sharp, E, and then I have D, F sharp, A. But then it cancels the C sharp again, and then it's back in the key of G major. If you listen to the music, you will see you will hear regular phrases. It starts then upbeat, and it will go up to there, and then it will start again with an upbeat, regular phrases, and I will hear a homophonic texture. It's important that you follow your score and look at the things that I explained here. Now here, the melody is repeated an octave higher. And then the violin copy the melody previously played only by the piano. And I again have that feeling of I go to D major and then I go back to G major. Now where the roundo starts, the A section, we're still busy with that. I then see a repeat part, and that can also be interpreted as an ABA, because I get that feeling of an ABA. And here I see octave movement in my piano. So the left hand is quite involved with all these octaves. And the violin plays exactly what the piano plays. And I have a lot of chromatic notes in my cello. And sforzato, sforzando, meaning that I have to put an accent on those notes. And it makes it a little bit syncopated, because all of a sudden the accent is on a weak beat. Previous video I mentioned staccatos. There I see double stopping and staccatos in my violin. Here the violin part is copying the piano part, and the texture is still homophonic because I have one melody. The cello fills in like a bass line that I had in my basso continuo in Baroque time. And I see small little cadences. You will see lots of octaves, and then as if I finish in D major, and lots of repeated material. Look at that bar and compare it with that bar. Look at that bar and compare it with that bar. You will see it's exactly the same. So we have a lot of repeated sections. What I want to highlight here is the scales. Scale up, and then I have staccato notes. I have the cello part that is playing a bass line. I have double stopping there. Again a C sharp, as if it moves to to D major. And there the melody begins again. Part ends with a perfect cadence. Dominant sevenths, D, F sharp, A, C to G, B, D. Here I have other material starting, and I have a cello ostinato. And it actually copies what the piano is doing. I have a tonic pedal note, and the melody is still copied by the violin, and the violin plays it an octave higher than the piano. And a tonic pedal carries on there. I see the ostinato patterns in the cello, and the previous melody is repeated. So lots of melodic material I see repeated in this. The trill written in there, and there we have another ornamentation written there. This new section starts, I have a gypsy feeling, and we've got chordal accompaniment in the piano and full chords. Look at this dominant seventh feeling, D, F sharp, A, C, with the A in the bass. Open octaves, and the melody is played by the cello. And there we have a repeat of the same. Look at that contrast in dynamic. Fortissimo and then piano. Fortissimo and piano. Here in the music you see the acciaccatura that I explained in the previous video, and I've got chordal accompaniment in my piano, and I have that contrast of dynamics. It's still homophonic. I only have one melody. Now look at that long tonic pedal note that I have in my cello part when I go to G minor. Look at the double stopping in my violin, and it's still homophonic because I have one melody, and everything is written out. The accents are written out. I've got solid chords in my left hand. It's one of the few spots where the cello plays a little bit more than long bass notes. You see that G, F sharp, because mostly play minims and crotchets and quavers. But everything is written in for the cello as well. There we have quite high range of the melody, and we have an active line busy in the violin. Interesting, there you will see the pizzicato and arco written in. Pizzicato where I pluck with my fingers, and the arco showing that I have to use the bow again. And look at how high the melodic line is there. Yes, and still my very solid left hand accompaniment. The cello goes back to a bass line. That section I see in G minor, and there it's an indication that I go back to G major. But the melody for the first time, the piano started. Now here, this part, the violin will start with the piano, and the piano will immediately play the higher octave. Still that the cello has got lots of bass notes, and that the violin copies the melody of the piano. And there I see my octaves again with clear cadences. Here the melody is mainly in the piano again, and we have double stopping in the violin. We have the scale there, and if I carry on here, you will see there the violin shares the melody again with the piano. I get that feeling of moving to D major again, but there I'm back in G major. And with this new section that I see there, I go to that gypsy feeling of a minor with the tonic pedal note there, and the ostinato pattern that I see in the cello, and the violin sharing the melody with the piano. You know the meaning of the bracket 1 and the bracket 2. And here it feels as if I start in B flat major. because I've got that F natural. So that's another key that I have. Get the feeling now of the melody that is shared and the cello that's not as actively involved. Accents are marked in there. Fortissimo is marked in there. Melody is shared. Solid chords in the left hand. Quite a wide range in the right hand. Melody shared. And here I have a little indication, like a little bridge, that I'm going to go back to my G major. The A theme repeats. This time the violin also starts with the piano. Everything there I explained to you already. You can just listen to everything there. If I scroll on, everything there you should understand. And what I hear here at the end, marked O, sounds like a coda. Now in my Mozart videos, I explained coda. And even the crescendo markings are marked in. And typical of Haydn, we've got a little bit of a tremolo there. You see the tremolo sign that for the whole bar, I have to play the low G and the high G. And then typical of Haydn is this chord at the end. Let me just scroll this up a little bit, that you can see it there. Right at the end. Music, it feels as if they do not have enough perfect cadences. 5 to 1, 5 to 1, 5 to 1. And I see that tremolo. So I hope that you understand this a little bit better. So let's listen to this one again. I will also put this link in the description box. Gypsy feeling. I hear that theme coming back. Hungarian feeling. I will put this in the description box that you can go and watch this. And I wish that you understand everything and good luck with the studies for this week. So really concentrate on this. And you hear the coda. Enjoy your studies.